Okay, so this MIDI hack is another one of my personal favorites. I think I've said that on every MIDI hack video, but I just love doing stuff with MIDI so much. But anyway, this one's really cool. If you're anything like me, you're not very good at playing chords in real time. I don't know about you, but I just can't get my hands on the keyboard in the right position all the time to like nail the next chord in my progression. So this is a trick that I think will really help for those of you out there that are like me, and even those of you that are very dexterous on the keyboard. This can be helpful for just getting new ideas for chord progressions and what have you. But anyway, in order to do this, we're going to first need to create a blank MIDI clip so that we can see the piano roll for our synth here. So let's create a MIDI clip, maybe 4 bars long, and I'm going to do that by highlighting time in the arrangement, and then we'll press Shift-Command-M on the Mac or Shift-Control-M on the PC, and we will create our new MIDI clip there. That is that exact length, 4 bars. And if we double click on it, we can now see the piano roll down here in the clip view. I'll extend that a little bit. And normally what we can do is we can use the pencil tool or the pointer tool and start plugging in notes, right? We can, of course, record MIDI notes into this. If we wanted to develop a chord progression, and maybe we're having trouble playing it in real time, maybe the tempo of the track is too fast or something like that, this is a technique called step recording that I think will really help. So in order to get this to work, 2 things need to happen. 1, the track needs to be record armed. 2, you need to have this little preview button on in the top left-hand corner of the piano roll view, the MIDI editor view. So the next thing we need to do is decide where in this MIDI clip we want to place the chords. So as we click on the grid, you see this orange insert marker pops up. This is going to select the placement of where the chords are going to go. So let's just start right at the beginning of the clip. So we'll set it right here. And let's find a nice chord, maybe a C major there. And let me just kind of think out a chord progression for a minute here. Something like that. Okay, so let's start with the C major triad. And what I can do now is hold the notes on my keyboard. And from here, all I got to do is use the right arrow key on my computer keyboard. And as I tap that, it's going to plug the notes in exactly that spot. And notice how it's kind of moving by grid interval. And if I use the left arrow key, it'll just kind of shrink the notes back down. It'll shorten them. Okay, so then right after that chord, so again, the insert marker is there already. We'll trigger our next chord. Again, I'm just holding the notes down on my MIDI keyboard, and then we're going to use the right arrow key. Let's get our next chord in there. I think it was... There's our third one. Let me scroll up a little so we can see the notes I'm playing. And last chord, kind of resolve it here. So we just ended up with a 2-bar chord progression. That's fine. So let's shorten our loop. And using the loop brace in the arrangement, we'll turn it on. Now if we want to, of course, let's maybe go play around with the rhythm of these notes a little bit. Just feeling something a little different here. Let's shorten that guy. And the other thing we can do here is, once we've already got a MIDI performance ready to go, like we've got here, we've got a pretty decent chord progression, you can also use this technique just to add notes to the chord. So maybe I want to add the 7 to this first chord, and then it'll kind of lead into the next chord a little bit. So again, I just set the insert marker where I want it, hold a single note. So there's my 7. For the C major scale, and then again I'm just using the right arrow key, just draw it right in. You get the idea here. We can go in and we can add individual notes to build the chord up from scratch, or if you know the chord and you know the fingering position, hold the chord down and then you can use the right arrow key to draw it right in. So this is a nice quick way to get chord progressions plugged in, or even just melodies, one-note melodies, or even to add notes on top of existing chords. This is called step recording, and I hope you make really good use of this one of my personal favorites.